And welcome back to Pure Nebraska. Here on the program, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group Common Ground. Volunteers with a group are always working to spread a positive message about agriculture to consumers.
Today we are talking about pesticide use. Now the word can be scary to people. The reality is the amount of weed killer farmers use per acre is pretty small. So joining us now to talk more about that is CommonGround Volunteer Leslie Boswell from the Shickley area. And thanks for coming back for another week in a row.
Yeah.
I'm here again. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. I think a lot of people, including myself, and like I was telling you, I was raised on a farm.
Right.
But pesticide, the word still kind of scares us, I think. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people kind of freak out when they hear that?
I think there's so many misconceptions, and it's not the same as it used to be where they had to use large amounts. They've got everything so targeted now that they're working on very pest-specific chemicals. They are using smaller amounts, they're much more concentrated, so that they're working in a more efficient way within the plant. And the amount of chemical that we can put on an acre will fit in this cup. Mm-hmm. And you mix that with your water and spread it out over that much area, about the size of a football field is 1 acre. Mm-hmm. That much is going on that entire space. So the use of it is very small. And with a lot of the advancements in GMOs, we have better use of plant chemicals that will not target our main crop that we're trying to raise, but will target the crop or the weeds that they're trying to get. And with some of the resistant weed that we're starting to have, they're changing chemicals. They're getting to where it's even a smaller amount than this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they are being very specific on exactly which plants they're trying to kill. Mm-hmm. So it's very controlled.
When you're talking about conventional agriculture and using weed killers, it's almost like something you have to. Do you have to use it? Is the question, because you have to feed a lot of people around the world, and you got to produce a lot of grain. Is there a need to really use weed killers? Do you have to use it?
For most commercial production, we're trying to go for as many bushels as we can per acre because there are a lot more people in the world now. We're not getting any more land. Mm-hmm. In fact, we're losing land that is actually used for farming. We're not getting any more water either. That is very limited, as you had earlier on your segment, that water in the Ogallala Aquifer, they say, is decreasing some. We have to be very conservative with that. We have to control the pests or the plants that are competing with our crops to try to get the most out of our fields that we can. If you've got 2 plants here, one is corn and one is a weed, that weed is taking the chemical, the water, the nutrients out of the fields and taking that away from our corn. So we need to reduce that so that our plants, our corn and our beans, can get as much out of the soil as we can possibly get them. Mm-hmm.
And you know, you're a mother.
Yes.
Does it concern you at all?
No, it's not. Mm-hmm. I've worked with it for so long that I'm used to it. I understand it. I know the amounts that go on the fields. I know the way the farmers handle it. They are not going to be out there just dumping it like some people say. We figure our costs on chemicals, on just the pesticides, is about $25 an acre. We have, you know, that doesn't sound that bad, but we've got 1,000 acres. So you figure just our chemical cost is about $25,000 a year.
Wow.
And that's estimated off of last year's prices. I haven't seen this year's yet. So we're not going to be throwing away our money by throwing out chemicals that aren't going to do any good.
All right, well, we're out of time on this topic, but Leslie, I think it's really great that you are willing to talk about some of these issues that people have on their minds, and thank you for bringing this one to our attention.
Yeah, thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.